Hey Encounter Youth, it's Pastor Luke. I just want to take the next few moments to share a quick leadership thought with you. I believe this thought is very practical and can be applied to your everyday life, and it will change the way that you view your life, that how it's going right now. Maybe it will help you through a situation that's happening in your life. I just want to encourage you with this thought. I believe it's something that's very important. It's going to change the way that you live. So my talk today is going to be titled, Check Your Attitude. Have you heard this saying where it says, people say attitude is everything? I believe this saying is true. I believe that no matter what is happening in our life, our attitude directs us and dictates how we're going to live. It's going to dictate how we view our situations are coming toward us. We're going to view what is happening in the world. Our attitude is everything. And I believe that it is something that we can take control of and that we can change. There's a John Maxwell quote that says this: "The world you see is colored by your attitude." So if you don't like the way the world around you is colored because of how you're viewing stuff in this world, change your attitude. And today I just want to take the next few moments to show you that you have the power to change your attitude, and that there's 5 traits that you can apply to your life today that can change your attitude until you can have a better view of the world around you. You may say, Luke, I don't have the power to change my attitude. And I'll say I disagree with you on that, because there is nothing and no one who can dictate how you view the world and what kind of attitude you have. You're the only person who can do that. Your attitude is your responsibility. It's no one else's. So here are 5 attitude traits that make a difference. The first one is a positive attitude. Have you met that person who is super positive all the time, that always has, no matter what happens, they have a positive outlook on the thing? Let's be honest, they can be kind of annoying at times, that like nothing can happen and they're always going to be in a good mood. You may be wanting to spill your heart out to them, saying what is happening in you, and just want to have a woe is me moment, and they're over here saying it's okay, everything's going to work out. They're kind of annoying sometimes, but I believe what they carry is very important, that we should all have this kind of outlook on life, that a positive outlook, knowing that everything works together for the glory of God and that He has everything under control. See, when I was in high school, and when I was a sophomore, my dad got diagnosed with cancer. It was a scary time. It was out of nowhere. We didn't know how this was going to happen. He was young, like he shouldn't have had cancer at this time. But he got diagnosed with cancer, and it was a dark time, but at the same time, we kept a positive outlook. For me in particular, every day I had to wake up and say, you know what, I can't control this situation. I can't control the outcome, but God's got it under control. And I know I can trust God in knowing that He will heal my dad, because He is the God of healing. He is the God of restoration. He wants to heal my dad. So I took this attitude of a positivity and relying on God through it all. And I got to be honest, like there's times where I stressed about it. I worried about it. There's nights I lost sleep because of it. But through it all, I woke up each and every day and said, you know what, this isn't on me. This isn't something I can control, but this is on God. I can trust God and know that He can work this for His good. And I believed that my dad was going to get healed. And then about 2 years later, we find out that he was cancer-free after all the treatments that he just went through. It was a rough time, but we kept a positive attitude. We kept trusting God, knowing that God had it under control. So I encourage you today, no matter what situation is happening in your life, have a positive attitude. Trust God and allow Him to work in the situation. He has it under control. He hasn't forgotten about you, but He's on your side and He's working on your behalf. So have a positive outlook, knowing that God is on your side. The second thing is a teachable attitude. See, this is something that if you are old enough to have a job, or maybe you're about to look into getting a job during the summer, or whatever it may be, I believe a teachable spirit is something that every employer is going to look for. See, an employer is going to want somebody who doesn't think they have all the answers, or somebody that they can go to and say, hey, Luke, this is how you're supposed to do it, and this is how it's going to go. And that you say, okay, I'm ready to learn. I'm open arms. I'm ready to learn whatever you're wanting to teach me. Or maybe you love to play sports and you have a coach that comes to you and says, let's do this a different way. Instead of saying, you know what, I've done this my whole entire life this way, I don't want to take your advice. But let me say this. They're the coach, they're the boss for a reason. They've done this before. They've been through this before. They know exactly what you're getting ready to step into. And they want to help you make your job easier. And if you just have a teachable spirit, a teachable attitude, It's going to make your world so much easier. And not only that, but I believe it's going to help you with your employer, with your boss, and with your coach that maybe have more playing time, that have more responsibility on the job, and maybe even get that raise. So I encourage you to have a teachable spirit, because an employer and a coach will always love to see that in the person that they're trying to train. The third thing I see as a trait that is effective in our everyday life is solution focus. See, there's these people who may see something that's wrong in the world, or may see something wrong on the job, and they'll say, you know what, I don't get paid enough to do this. I don't need to take the time to try to solve this problem. But I would encourage you to be the opposite of that. Take the time to, if you see something on the ground, maybe it's a piece of trash, just pick it up and throw it in the trash. Begin to do the little things, because if you take care of the little things, of the little problems, you'll be able to take care of the big problems. This is something that, just like the last one, with an employer. An employer is going to love to see that when there's a problem arises, that you are ready to have a solution. You have a solution in mind already. They're going to love to see that, and they're going to say, you know what, this person takes this job seriously, and they want to go to the next level. I encourage you to have an ownership mindset instead of a manager mindset. See, an ownership will see things and do them immediately. A manager will see something and say, you know what, we'll get to that later. Or an employee mindset is say, you know what, this isn't my job. I'm not going to deal with this problem. But I encourage you to, if you see something, do something. The old saying is, see something, say something. I encourage you to take it to the next level and do something about the problem. I was told that from a mentor when I was in college. And I immediately grabbed hold of that. Instead of seeing something and just taking it immediately to him and saying, here's the problem, he gave me the ownership to take care of the problem. So I encourage you to do that as well. If you see something, you have the power to take care of the problem, do it. Be solution focused. The fourth thing that is an attitude difference maker is persistence. Be persistent in trying to get better each and every day. Be persistent in trying to have a positive attitude every day. Yeah, you may get knocked down, but be persistent and keep getting up. Keep getting up and every day saying, you know what, today is a new day. Today is a new opportunity to live out a positive attitude. See, if you let a bad day turn into if you're not careful, you can let a bad day turn into a bad week. And if you're not careful with that, a bad week can turn into a bad month. A bad month can turn into a bad year. So I encourage you, take control of the moment today. Turn it around today and be persistent and pursue after a positive outlook on life. Be persistent in having a teachable spirit. Be persistent in looking for the solution in the problems around you. Be persistent. Don't get stagnant in your life, but continue to keep getting better and better, because if you will never regret getting better. You'll never regret learning more. You'll never regret having more of a positive outlook on your life. And lastly, we have grateful. Have a grateful attitude. So the first one was a positive attitude, a teachable attitude, a solution-focused attitude, a persistent attitude, and a grateful attitude. This one is a minor detail, but if we are able to take care of this one, we're going to be able to have a positive outlook easier. If we take the moment to be grateful for the things that we have, instead of trying to see to something that we want to have, instead of being focused on what we want to have and be focused on what we have right now and be grateful for it and realize that everything that we have is a gift from God, we will begin to have that positive outlook. We'll be able to wake up each and every day and say, you know what, this is going to be the day that I am able to have a positive life. If you're able to take the moment to be grateful for what you have now, you'll be able to be grateful for what God's going to give you in the future. So I encourage you, maybe you don't have a list, or maybe you don't know something that you're grateful for. Make a list right now. Write down 4 or 5 things that you're grateful for and say, thank you, God, for giving me these things. And thank you, God, that you've put me in ownership over them and that I can have responsibility over these things. So I encourage you, look at what God has given you and be grateful for it. Because if you're grateful, you will be able to go much further than you are right now. So these 5 attitude traits are a difference maker in your life. So I encourage you, maybe you're struggling in one of these areas. Try picking it up. Get around people who are going to push you towards being a better person, to be a better, have a better positive outlook on life, to be more teachable, to be solution focused, be persistent, and to be grateful. These 5 things, if you can get these things down, you will be living the best life that you can live, because God has called us to have life to the fullest, and these 5 things fall under the things that God calls us to be. God calls us to have a positive outlook on life. He calls us to be teachable, not to know it all, but to do our best in everything that we do. And he calls us to be the solution in our world. See, we as Christians, we have the solution to the problem the world is searching for the solution for. So I encourage you to be the solution. Show God's love to everyone you come in contact with. Be the solution. And be persistent. Always pursue after God. When you pursue after God, he's going to meet you, and he's going to meet you there, and he's going to love on you. He's going to give you everything that you need so you can live this life out. And lastly, be grateful. See, God asks us to be grateful. He asks us to have grateful hearts and thanksgiving of what he's doing around us. So I encourage you to live in these 5 things. Try to get better each and every day. Try to wake up with a positive attitude. Be a teachable person. Have a solution mindset. And be persistent and grateful. God bless you guys, and I'll see you next week.